Hello, we are new to Washington. We just moved from Fresno. California is a mess right now, so we are glad to be in Washington. I heard that my son, Jeffy, who is in 10th grade, will need to pass a test called the WASL to graduate. Is that true?
Welcome to Washington. No, not exactly. The state does not require the WASL anymore. We now require the HSPE. The state changed it because some people did not like the WASL and complained. The state said the HSPE system would be much less confusing and cheaper.
Oh, that is good. I am glad things are now cheaper and easier to understand. I found some test preparation material online for the WASL. What resources should my son use for the HSPE?
The materials you found on the WASL will work for the HSPE.
The old materials still work? Isn't it a different test?
No, not exactly. It is basically the same test. The biggest difference is each subject is taken on one day instead of two, and, don't forget, it is now called the HSPE.
Oh, so the HSPE test is shorter?
No, not exactly. It is basically a 2-day test for each subject that has been put into one day. This will save money.
Oh, and I also heard it is an online test. I heard this will save money.
No, not exactly. Our school does not have enough computers to do this, and our school district does not have enough money for new computers since the state cut our budget. We would save money if we could afford it. So the WASL, HSPE, is still a paper and pencil test.
Oh, and I heard my son will need to pass the reading, writing, math, and science HSPE tests. Is that true?
No, not exactly. The state no longer has the WASL, HSPE, for math. It is now the end-of-course exam for geometry and algebra. Your son will need to pass both the geometry and algebra tests. Unless he has already passed the WASL or HSPE, then he will not have to pass the end-of-course exam. Has Jeffy passed these tests?
No, I just told you that we moved here from California, where it's a mess.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Johnny will need to pass the algebra and geometry end-of-course tests, or he must pass one of these tests followed by a make-up test in the other subject.
Which other subject? The math subject test he did not choose. I don't understand.
Let me explain some more. For example, Georgie will have to take the algebra end-of-course exam, and then the make-up for geometry end-of-course exam, or vice versa, depending on which math class he is currently enrolled. By the way, we call the end-of-course exams EOCs for short.
What is the difference between the test and the make-up test?
I don't know. I'm not sure anyone knows. I have never seen a sample test for the end-of-course exam. Like I said, it is new.
So now he will need to take 2 tests in math to graduate.
No, not exactly. He might have to pass both tests, but the state has run out of money and the cost to score both tests for each student is $25 million. So Jimmy might only have to choose to take either the algebra or the geometry. The state has not decided yet.
Isn't the test in 2 months?
Yes. The state has a lot of problems, so this problem has not been voted on yet.
If the state says my son only has to pass 1 test, can you tell me which one of the tests my son would take so he can study for it?
No, not exactly. I don't know which one is the right one. The state legislature has not decided yet.
When will the state decide?
I don't know. Probably before the tests.
So let me get this straight. My son has to pass the reading, writing, and science HSPE and the end-of-course exams in math.
Yes, but the state has recommended that we delay the requirement for math and science until 2017.
Oh, when will my son know if they have delayed this?
I don't know. Probably before the tests.
That seems like a big deal to delay math and science. Has the state ever delayed math and science requirements before?
Yes.
When?
In 2002, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, and 2009.
So let me get this straight. My son has to pass reading and writing HSPE, and take the science HSPE which he may or may not have to pass, and take algebra and geometry end of course exams which he may or may not have to pass, or maybe just take one of them, but we are not sure which one yet because the state has not decided yet.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I can see this is a cheaper and much less confusing way than the WASL. By the way, I also have a daughter in the middle school and I hear she has to take the WASL. Is that true?